Welcome back to another episode of Going For It. As you can tell, we have the most magnificent collection of wonderful gentlemen named Mike. Mike Spillane, Mike Thomas here with us. Mike and Mike in the evening. We are back. Do us
Second
a
most
favor.
famous Mike and Mike.
Second most famous. I think that's true. Like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you want to support us doing more Mike and Mike segments. If you don't, do it anyway, because it would make me feel so appreciated, and I love you. Gentlemen, welcome back. We had another lovely week of NFL football. It was lovely for some people, less lovely for others. Mike Thomas, you got to enjoy a bye week.
Yes.
And would just like to say, fucking jealous, man.
It was a great week to have a bye week. I didn't watch, probably not the right thing to admit, I did not watch any football this week. We went out on Sunday, took my daughter to the pumpkin patch and had a lot of fun there. And we did all these things that were just we took her to the zoo, not the pumpkin patch. We took our daughter to the zoo on Sunday. She had a great time. Everything was great. I come back Sunday night. I look at my phone and it's chaos, just chaos everywhere. I'm like, I leave you alone, NFL, for one afternoon. One afternoon, and you let this happen? What the heck happened?
It was a wild day. The Jets did a thing. The 49ers did a thing. And I'm going to say that way on purpose because the 49ers lost that game. The Browns did not win it. It was a time. What I would like to do now is lead off how we start every pick'em segment by going over our winner for last week, and it just so happens that person is me. I won last week.
Sweet.
All is right with the world. Mike Spillane and I back on top. We both got 9s. I guess I picked better stuff than you for the tiebreakers, and everything is right with the world. Craig with 8 correct, Mike Thomas with 7 correct, and Mike Spillane and I both at 9. So all is right with the world. Everything is back in order.
At this point, I just want to know what it's got to show the tiebreakers because I this is twice now that you finished ahead of me with us on the same score, and I just want to know what I did.
But you did it to me in week 2.
Actually, 3 times. 3 times.
All I know, I've been using Yahoo's Pick'em for probably 10, 15 years now. I've never once seen the tiebreakers listed. You make them every week, but I've never seen them come into play. Like in terms of Yahoo's telling you, well, you got first over this guy because you went this direction with the tiebreaker.
I wish I could tell you what my tiebreakers were because I would, but I can't. I don't seem to have the ability to. Oh, wait, if I go back to week 6. Yeah, okay. So I said I picked the Chargers to win. Mistake. I said they were going to win 24-16 over Dallas. Giants, Bills. I said Bills 27-9. I got the 9 right. Who scored the most points this week? I said Miami, which I think was correct. And I said Carolina would score the least amount of points. And they did not. The Giants, I think, scored the least amount of points.
No, it tied. The Broncos scored 8, and someone scored 6. That was the Bucs. Bucs scored 6, I believe.
Tampa.
Fucking terrible. Okay. Well, all is right with the world. I am, I believe, back on top in the standings. I am. So OG Sourpuss back to 3rd. Mike Spillane sitting comfortably in 2nd with the same record as me, but me with more tiebreaker victories. This feels just like fantasy football, doesn't it, Mike?
Yeah, pretty much, except for the fact that I'm not getting my ass handed to me while I'm still actually doing pretty well.
You are doing pretty well. So that leads me into this week, our Thursday night game, a riveting showdown between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New Orleans Saints. In this game, I am taking Jacksonville because all this season has done for me is further solidify the fact that Derek Carr is a mediocre at best quarterback. Like, at best, he is mediocre. He has the 6th ranked defense in the NFL, and they are 500 team. He's not good. He's got good weapons. He's not good. That's what I'll say about that. Mike Spillane, what do you got?
I mean, even if there's a chance that Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, which it seems like that's still relatively up in the air, even though I'm pretty sure he's going to play, I would still take Jacksonville, which might be a little bit hurtful to Derek Carr and the Saints. But yeah, Jacksonville's the better team top to bottom, even if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, because you're right, Derek Carr's a little bit booty cheeks, a little bit.
It's kind of booty cheeks.
Kind of
Mike Thomas.
The Saints are just one of those NFL teams that you hate because you just don't know who the heck they are. They played Houston and they like more first downs than the better third down efficiency, more yards by far in that game, ran more plays, gained more yards per play than the Texans. The only thing they didn't do is score more. And they ended up losing that
in
game.
order to win.
I know, but it's one of those where it's just, you look at it, it's like they won every category basically except for the one that mattered, and they lost that game. And I still don't know who Jacksonville is, and having their quarterback be injured makes me not feel good about picking Jacksonville. But God, I have to pick Jacksonville on Thursday night. Not even in London. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
If it was in London, it's Jacksonville is a lock. It's a lock. Apparently. Jacksonville victory.
Yeah. No, I'm taking Jacksonville on the road. I hate it. I'm going to start 0-1.
Moving right along, Las Vegas Raiders. This game is the one I think that really won me the week. I picked the Raiders over the Patriots, and the Raiders did end up winning that game in what I would assume is terrible. I didn't watch a minute of it, but I just assumed that it was not an enjoyable watch for anyone. I am going to take the Raiders over the Bears because Justin Fields is doubtful, and that means that team is even worse than they have been, and that's bad. So give me the Raiders. Mike Thomas, we're going to start with you.
Chicago got their win for the year. They're done. They're just going to sit on the win-loss column and try to lock up the first two picks of the draft. So, yeah, I'm going to take Vegas on the road here. I don't really think Chicago's going to put up much of a fight.
So this game, I feel like, is actually interesting because it's going to be the probable least watchable game of the week because I think Jimmy Garoppolo's injured as well, which means we're possibly looking at Aiden O'Connell versus Tyson Bagent as the quarterback battle because, yes, I had to Google the backups.
I hate everything you just said. I don't know. Those people could be sitting in a room with me right now, and I would have no idea who they were.
Put this motherfucker in prime time. Flex that schedule, Goodell. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Vegas just because of the fact that I trust the run game better to potentially get going. But guys, we might be looking at like a 6-3 slobber knocker here. Like that's,
you know what? It might be like, I'm going to say 6-5. There's a safety, but they.
Oh, there's a safety. But is it like a quarterback sack safety or is it like a botched punt safety?
I'm going to say quarterback sack. I'm going to say Aiden O'Connell runs out of the back of the end zone, but still ends up winning.
That's not a sack technically. That's what we call an Orlovsky.
He's going to pull an Orlovsky. Next is the close to second most unwatchable game of the week. The Cleveland Browns versus the Indianapolis Colts in Indy. It came out this week, and today, actually, it's Wednesday night as we're our normal record evening. And Indy announced today that Anthony Richardson will be having AC joint repair surgery done. I read for about 45 minutes about this surgery. I saw that Drew Brees and Ben Roethlisberger have both had this procedure at varying degrees. Typically, it's not a procedure that's done for any a joint sprain unless it's over a 3. So that would lead me to believe that Richardson's probably not healing properly, and that's why they're going to go in and just do it surgically. And the doctor that was talking about it said that really the only way that it would affect him moving forward is if he got hit. He got a hard knock again, and that would kind of like shift everything out of whack. There's like a 90% chance he comes back just the same. He's 21. He's young. However, before we break down the game, he's 21, he's young, and he's already having AC joint surgery. I know that Craig Brooks, the most ardent defender of Anthony Richardson, is not currently here, but I'm going to turn first to Mike Thomas and tell me if this dims the glow of Anthony Richardson for you as someone who watches football and is excited by good football a little bit.
That's an interesting way you phrased it, because I think it doesn't necessarily dim the lights or anything on him, because I don't know, that kind of implies like, oh, I think he's going to be bad now. Whereas that's not necessarily the case, but I'm more worried than I was before because of this injury, because not only is it a major injury, and we were talking all season long, the way this guy plays, he's going to get hurt and he's going to get knocked out. He needs to learn to protect himself, and that came true, unfortunately. It's a injury that's requiring season-ending surgery, and sure, okay, medically he might be able to come back and be fine, but these are super important reps in his career and games that he is missing. So I don't know if we'll ever be able to look back and say for sure whether that injury affected him or didn't. Maybe the only way we could say that is if he comes back and plays great.
It'll be interesting to see, because I've made the comparison all year. So if you don't believe me, go back and listen to other episodes.
Check the game tape.
I get such Cam Newton vibes from this guy, and not in the like I'm the greatest there ever was or will be, like, and we'll talk about this in a minute too. Cam is very adamant that he could still, like, he's not signing with the Jets for a $5.5 million contract. He's worth more than that. He could come in and be a starter there, like would start over Aaron Rodgers. Like, he's saying all this shit to RG3, and like, we can discuss that in a little bit. But I get such Cam Newton vibes from this guy just because Cam was so athletic. He was so much more athletic than other people at the position. You know, people were always marveled at his size and his speed and his strength, and all of that same stuff is true for Anthony Richardson. But what happened to Cam? He fucked up his throwing shoulder, and then he was a shell of what he was and could not stick anywhere. Dude's out of the league. And like, regardless of what he says or what anyone else says, he can't play ball anymore. Like, he went back to Carolina last year and was like, I'm back. And then they lost every single game he played in. So like, like, this dude is not capable of being a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I'm worried about that for Anthony Richardson. I want to see him be in this league long term. His intangibles are excellent. His ability is insane. He's huge. He runs fast. All of that stuff is great. He needs to have Russell Wilson mentality and not Cam Newton, Andrew Luck, Big Ben mentality, because it looks like his body is not going to be able to hold up to something like that. Mike Spillane, I'm going to come to you.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually kind of just having this discussion. You guys know I'm a big soccer guy. I was having this discussion about a guy who used to play for Orlando City who's kind of struggled with injuries since he moved to Europe, and Daryl DK. And people have been wondering, like, maybe his size is part of the reason why he struggled with injuries. Because the guy, honestly, like, Pat, you've seen him before. Guy's built like a middle linebacker. For a soccer player, he is fucking huge. Like, it makes no sense. And it's one of those things, you know, I feel for Anthony Richardson, and I kind of really hope that he's going to be able to get through it and be all right and still have a good career. Because I wasn't high on him. I know a lot of people that were big UF fans weren't terribly high on him. And he started to show that there's going to be some probability for success, but injuries are no fun. So you don't want to see that. You don't want to wish that on anybody. And, you know, all you can do is it's disheartening because he's having these injuries while he's young. But at the same time, it should give you some hope that because he's having these injuries while he's young, that he's going to be able to recover from them and you know, be successful going forward. It's just with those young players, it's odd because it's literally one way or the other. It's they either come through the adversity of the injury and find success, or they can't get out of the dark cloud of that adversity and struggle as they go forward. So just got to see what he's made of.
Let me ask you guys a question. He's going
to have a lot of time for mental reps. Go ahead.
Could you, if you had the choice, would you choose to have the career of Cam Newton, where your flame burned really, really bright before burning out quickly? Or would you choose the career of somebody like Ryan Fitzpatrick or Vinny Testaverde, a guy who was just around for a long time, was a starter in the league, good enough to be a starter, but never really was good enough to win it all, isn't going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, isn't going to be known as one of the best of his time, but was just an adequate quarterback for a really long time? Which of those would you take?
If I had to pick between those two and those are the only two options, I'd take Cam Newton because he had the MVP season. But realistically, it's all about championships, and he doesn't have a Super Bowl, and the other guys you're mentioning are also non-Super Bowl guys. If I had the opportunity, I'd rather pick a guy that won a Super Bowl than either one of those options.
So you would be all aboard the Trent Dilfer train?
No, because God, did I hate watching that. Like, I went to the NFL experience that year. I was a young kid in 2000 being like, yeah, the Giants are going to beat the Ravens. Then we lost to Trent fucking Dilfer.
I also take the Cam Newton route just because there's no denying that for at least a 2-year span, he was the most dominant player at that position in the league. Like, undoubtedly. And that to me means more than like Fitzmagic has made a name for himself and it's really cool. Like Vinny Testaverde was around till he was like 83 or something. And that's kind of neat. But no, like I don't want to live the Mark Brunell life or any of that. Like give me Cam, the flash in the pan, and honestly, he should fade from just fade gracefully into the back and like be remembered for what you did, not talking now about how you still got it when like, homie, we've seen you throw a ball, you don't have it anymore, you can't do it, your shoulder doesn't move that way.
Yeah, and he was at his best when he was running anyway.
Right.
So
it's also funny to remember, since you mentioned Vinny Testaverde, that I just want to like throw this out there that you got to remember when Vinny Testaverde first came into the league, he was still wearing the creamsicles every Sunday with the Bucks. That's how old he is.
Here's how old we are, though, or at least I am. I'm old enough to have seen the renaissance of the creamsicle jerseys, and people talk about how cool those are. Those used to be the joke of the football league.
I still think they're hideous.
I think that they're cool, but that's because I owned a clothing company when I started college, and we had a creamsicles throwback shirt.
Oh yeah, you did have that.
I did, yeah. But that's
anyway,
that's the reason I think they're cool.
Tangent enough. Cleveland Browns, Indianapolis Colts. I'm taking the Browns. All the momentum after this win over San Fran, and I think PJ Walker looked decent. He looked honestly like he looked comparable in my eyes to Deshaun Watson, which is bad for the Browns because they gave Deshaun Watson a boat full of money, and they guaranteed it. So that's kind of not great. But give me the Browns. Mike Spillane.
How soon until Deshaun's back?
Only Deshaun knows the answer to that question.
Cool. I still picked the Browns, but that's just because Minshew Mania is old, man. It's not for me anymore.
Mike Thomas.
So
I will also take Cleveland, but doesn't it kind of feel like Deshaun Watson just like saw all the criticism and he's like, you know what? I just won't play.
And then the Browns start doing better without him. That irony isn't lost on me. Like they beat the Niners without him. So like that's not even a feather he can put in his cap and be like, yeah, I was the quarterback for the team who beat San Francisco. And it's like, no, you weren't. That was PJ Walker.
Yeah. I don't know too much about his injury. I know that he was talking to the media today and he's day to day. They've been very oddly kind of hush hush about what the injury is, what his timeline is, how injured he really is, all this stuff. So I don't know. It gives that sense of he just might have said, you know what? I'm seeing all the negative talk about me. Screw you. I got my guaranteed money. I'm fine. I'll show you who needs who. And maybe he was
my
wrong.
Shoulder, it hurts.
The massage parlor with his name. No, there's not. Just kidding.
Let's move on. Bills, Patriots. Give me the Bills by $1 billion. $1 billion.
Do we have to spend time on this game?
Honestly, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Mike Spillane.
I picked I'm going to tell you my tiebreaker right now for this week is the Patriots scoring the least amount of points.
It's fair.
Because, dude, like, is Belichick on a hot seat? Like, could he be? Like, I don't know, but they're bad. Give me the Bills again by $1 billion.
Mike Thomas.
Belichick won't be fired, but he might be retired.
Forcefully
The
retired.
Steelers have done this to a couple of coaches in the past where they did not want to have them continue with their services. And so they kind of forced them to quote unquote retire, only for them to sign with another team in a couple weeks. So I don't think Belichick's necessarily on the hot seat in the traditional sense, but boy, is that team not playing good. I will take Buffalo.
Yeah, can you I don't think you can fire a Belichick. Like
I
I
don't think
just
so
think
either.
he's done enough for your franchise that like if he wants to toil in obscurity for the next 10 years, like he brought you 7 championships, fucking live with it.
Yeah.
Like
This is
deal with
just
it.
karma for 2 decades of being the damn Patriots.
Done. Yeah. The damn Patriots. A game we're going to talk about in our matinee preview, which is going to be combined tonight with our primetime game preview. Just trying to shorten it up, make it a little easier for everyone to get a piece and listen and all that stuff. Washington Commanders at the New York Football Giants. According to Mike Spillane, it sounds like Daniel Jones may be coming back for the New York Giants. Depending on which side of the fence you fall on, that is either good news or bad news. Again, this will be brought up and talked about in our matinee segment. I'm going Commanders here. Give me the commies. I just think they are more consistent. And I think consistency wins you games in the NFL. And the Giants are consistently bad and losing and consistently inconsistent. So not good things. Mike Thomas, I'm going to go to you first before I let Mike Spillane go.
Does New York want to win? I'm sure the
Maybe.
players do. I don't think the fans do, but I kind of feel like the coaches do.
Coaches definitely do. Dable wants to win. He is very upset. Like that Buffalo game, he did not have a happy face after that game because it was
No.
very winnable.
Yeah, there was mental mistakes and missed penalties that really kind of contributed things.
Do I do it? Do I go G-Men here? God, this would be a bad pick. This would be just a dumb pick all the way around. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take New York.
Mike Thomas locking in the Giants. Mike Spillane, who do you got?
So be sure to check out the breakdown video where we talk about the game more. But I'm going to give you 2 answers, and those answers are: if Daniel Jones starts, I'm going with Washington. If Tyrod Taylor starts, I'm going with the Giants. That's where I'm at right now. I felt like Tyrod ran the offense a little bit better than Daniel does. And a couple mental mistakes happen and they don't happen and they beat Buffalo, which is stupid to say. Like,
yeah, I mean they were one play away, one pass interference, holding, whatever you want to call it, play away from winning that game, which is kind of crazy to say. We will get more into that in another episode. Falcons Bucks. Man, there's so I just want to harp on the Falcons here for a minute, and I just think Arthur Smith is like not a good coach. I was watching Red Zone on Sunday, as is tradition in my house. My wife leaves the room, and my daughter takes a nap at 1, so it's just me and Red Zone. And towards the end of that game, my daughter woke up, and I was kind of like cursory listening to the games and watching the games while also playing with my daughter and everything. And on back-to-back plays, the Atlanta Falcons got delay of game penalties because they did not get the play calls in fast enough to Desmond Ridder, which backed them up, which then caused them to be in a more difficult position to win the game. That is coaching wholehearted. Like, I don't believe in Desmond Ridder. He threw 3 horrible interceptions, but he's starting to integrate Kyle Pitts back in. Drake London's getting some looks. Like, these things are happening, which is really good for Atlanta. The play calls are coming in too slow, and that's an Arthur Smith problem. And they refuse to run Bijan in the red zone for some fucking reason. I don't know what the hell is up with that, but whatever. I digress. Give me the Bucks here because I don't believe in the Falcons' offensive play calling. Mike Splain, going to you.
So I also got the Bucks here, which is mostly because they're playing at home. I don't like Baker that much. I definitely don't like Desmond Ridder. It is nice to see that the Falcons remembered that they have Kyle Pitts on their team.
Finally, 4 years in.
Because that's the weirdest thing for me. Is Kyle Pitts is an absolute athletic freak, and it's like they don't know how to use him, which makes me think that there's like a probability that like he's going to end up being a trade target. Like some team's going to trade for him before the deadline, especially if Atlanta continues to be bad. But yeah, give me the Bucks here. I think that we're going to see a real good Rashad White performance. Because this just seems like a game where it's running backs are gonna eat. So give me Rashad White for 102 touchdowns.
Oh, 102 touchdowns. Nice.
That's my bold prediction for the weekend. I usually throw one in each episode.
That is bold.
That is bold to say that he's going to score 102 touchdowns. So he's going to have approximately 712 points scored just himself this weekend.
100 yards and 2 touchdowns, you knob.
That's not what you said. Mike Thomas heard it too.
There's definitely 102 touchdowns, and I just rolled with
I'm
it.
sorry that you didn't hear the comma. It was supposed to be 102 touchdowns.
Got it. Okay. Well, he would have won MVP if he would have done the first thing. So
yeah,
could he do?
sure.
But do you win MVP for one game?
If you score 102 touchdowns, yeah, I think they have to give it to you. Mike Thomas.
I mean, those cleats definitely go to Canton.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
At that point.
Yeah. I mean, if you score like 12, I think they take your cleats and send them to Canton. Oh, Mike Thomas.
Okay, sorry. You dropped
good.
out there.
At
least on mine. I'm going to take Tampa Bay. Keep it quick. I believe in Tampa more than I believe in Atlanta, and I still feel that way even after the creamsicle thumping by the Lions last week.
Speaking of the Lions, great transition. Lions versus Ravens. I'm going to stop making my picks first, and I'm going to throw it to Mike Spillane.
I was going to say, we're way too in agreement with everything right now, and I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like, I don't know, is it not good content? Also, Jared Goff's a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson right now, and I don't think that's controversial. Give me the Lions.
Mike Thomas.
Baltimore, 3-point favorites at home, but Detroit is the favorite among people in the Pick'em League, or at least on Yahoo. 65% of people on Yahoo picking Detroit. I think Detroit's the better football team, but I'm going to take Baltimore because the football gods hate the Steelers.
Okay. I think that Lamar Jackson struggles with any average to above average defense. The Lions are an above average defense, and they're able to score points at a faster rate than I think Lamar and that offense can. Give me the Lions. Detroit, even without a running back. I think they're gonna do some stuff. Moving on to the team that Mike was so happy not to watch last weekend. It was
so stress-free.
Ontario still there?
Who?
Matt Ontario?
Oh yeah, no, they probably gave him a promotion this past week. Who knows?
Again? Did they give him? Did he get Twitter Blue? Is that why they were like, if you're gonna?
He upgraded to Twitter Blue.
Great.
He decided to pay for all new Twitter users that $1 per year fee that they're talking about.
Yeah, I love it.
And he got the key to the city. It was Cleveland, but it was still a key to the city. No, he is still there. I am going to take the Rams. Little Cooper Kupp is going to demolish this Steelers secondary until they decide to let Joey Porter Jr. play full time. What's wrong with you? He's the best player on the field. Sorry.
It's okay.
You got feelings, don't you?
A little bit.
Mike Spillane, who you got?
I'm just going to keep it simple. That's a big travel for Pittsburgh, and they're not a great offense. I like George Pickens, though. Score me some fantasy points, but go Rams. Give me the Rams.
I'm also going the Rams.
Really good analysis here.
In watching some Steelers games, their secondary is definitely a weakness. As long as they can keep Stafford upright for a little bit, they should win this game pretty easily. Going Rams. Cardinals at Seahawks. This game also sounds horribly boring. I'm going to take the Seahawks, and I don't feel the need to address that any further. Mike Thomas.
Hey, Kyler Murray started practicing today. So maybe he'll come back to, I don't know, save the Cardinals 1-5 season. Certainly not going to be this week. I'll take Seattle at home.
Mike Spillane.
Yeah, give me the Seahawks. Give me Geno. It's going to be a Kenneth Walker game though, not Geno, because I'm actually playing against Geno in fantasy because someone else has some bye weeks. So Geno have a mediocre game.
That sounds like the Geno special. Moving on. Green Bay at Denver. I am taking the Packers here all day. Denver looks like they don't know their ass from their elbow, and that's a problem. That is a problem. I also am hoping for a healthy Christian Watson to just, put into my fantasy lineup and forget it. Mike, explain who you got in this game.
So, push is going to come to shove at some point. And Russell Wilson has actually been relatively good for the majority of the year statistically. And the Broncos offense has been pretty decent statistically. Their defense has been dog shit.
Terrible.
Jordan Love has shown that he is not perfect. Give me the Broncos in this game. Going out on a limb here. Give me the Broncos at home, Mile High, against an inexperienced Jordan Love.
Interesting. Mike Thomas.
Well, considering everybody has the play sheet for Denver now, thanks to Amazon Prime and their football broadcast, I feel like maybe that'll help the Green Bay coaches teach their offense how to play football. And maybe Green Bay's offense will score a couple points this week. So I will take Green Bay on the road.
Look at that. Moving right along, the Chargers versus Kansas City. The Chargers, if I made a bold prediction on this show a couple weeks ago, and I said that Brandon Staley is going to be fired. I think they're going to input Kellen Moore as the interim head coach. And I think that they are going to hire Eric Bieniemy from Washington in the offseason to have him come and coach up Justin Herbert in the style of Patrick Mahomes, because there's just too much talent on this fucking Chargers team for them to play so poorly. I do not understand. Austin Eckler, you are the bane of my existence, but I also love you and I need you to do better. Give me Kansas City here in Kansas City. They're not losing this divisional game. I love you, Justin Herbert. Don't throw picks. Mike Thomas.
Kansas City had to look around last week and go, all right, we got this. We're doing all right. We're not the best 5-1 team that you've ever seen, but this is not a NFL season with a lot of good teams. So we're just fine. I think they're going to take that confidence and roll to another W.
Mike Spillane.
Yeah, give me Kansas City here. And I think you're right. Brandon Staley's seat is going to be boiling lava hot if Kansas City wins this game. Yes, it's Kansas City on the road in Arrowhead, but like you said, there is way too many weapons on this team. There's way too many good defenders on this team for them to be so inept in all areas of the ball.
I'm looking at the salary. I want to see the salary cap for and like where the Chargers are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are the 7th highest cap hit team in the NFL this year, and they are actively spending, because there's an active spending category. 5, 6, 7. Okay, they're in the top 10 for active spending. They're actually behind the Steelers. Why do the Steelers have so much money in the cap? Why? I don't understand.
Defense.
Regardless, the Chargers are way up there as far as cap spending, And I really do. I think Brandon Staley is. I think he is on his way out the door. And if you ask any Chargers fan or watch any Chargers games, you can conceivably be like, yeah, that should happen. That you can't really argue with that because he has been not good at his job. Miami at Philly. This is our Sunday night football game. We will do a preview of this game as well. Very excited for this game. It's going to be electric. Hopefully the Eagles have pulled their heads out of their asses from last week. If not, then it won't be an exciting game. It'll kind of be like last Sunday night football when the Giants played the Bills, and that was a snooze fest. In this game, I'm taking the Dolphins. They have not given me any reason not to take them. I know they lost that Bills game handedly, but that's a divisional game. You can never really tell. They got hit in the mouth a little bit from Carolina this week, down 14-0, and stormed back to score like 35 unanswered or something like that. And then like their backups threw a pick six, and then they marched down the field and scored another touchdown. Like Miami is just firing on all cylinders right now, and I don't know that there's a team in the NFL that can stop them. So give me Miami here over Philly. I'm sorry. Fuck you, Jalen Hurts. Mike Thomas, hit me with what you got.
I'm also going to take Miami. I think Philadelphia they haven't been quite as dominant this year compared to last year. And yes, they're coming off a loss. Yes, it's hard to think of this team losing 2 in a row, but Miami might be the best team in the league right now, or at least certainly the best offense in the league right now. I don't even think that's a question. And I think Miami's going to win. This is a regular season game that Miami should win. Playoff game, maybe different, but regular season, they should win.
Nice point.
Yeah. Yep. And so as you were saying there, you are right. The Dolphins are the best rushing offense and the best passing offense in the NFL. They got both of them. And with that being said, speaking of bests, I'm going to tell you right now that of the 5-1 teams, I think the Eagles are the worst. That's the worst. There's 5-1 teams. I think that they're the worst. 4 or 3 of their, I think 4. No, 3 of their 5 wins have been by 1 score or less. So they're playing tighter games than you would expect. Like they lost opening day by 5 points to the Patriots, a team that literally has been barely able to score points since then. I don't think that the Eagles are the same team that they were last year, and the Dolphins are dominant. So give me the Fins, man.
Yeah, isn't Tyreek Hill like 186 yards away from hitting 1,000 for the year, and we're only
1,000 by game 7? That would be he's going to Mike McDaniel, and he's like, "Can we do it? Can we please do it?" And Mike McDaniel's gonna be like,
"Can we do it?"
Yeah.
I think he's just gonna be like, "Get open, and we'll do it."
I mean, Tua knows where. I feel like he knows where Tyreek is at all times. I feel like he's just got it like in his brain where he knows where Tyreek is every snap at every play. Like, it's insane to watch them play together. But we will break that down in our primetime preview. Our other primetime game this week is going to be boring as shit. San Francisco at Minnesota. San Fran might be down a couple offensive pieces. It's not going to matter. Minnesota's defense is terrible. And San Fran's defense is disgusting, and Minnesota's offensive line is bad. So this just seems like a really good way for Kirk Cousins to make some aggressive ground noises and give me San Fran here. Like I said, we'll break it down more in primetime. Mike Thomas, give me what you got.
I think this game is going to be so ugly. The NFL goes to the refs ahead of time and said, "Hey, let the defenders make big hits so that we can talk about what a defensive game this was and sell that to our over 45 crowd that loves defensive football." So I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I will take San Francisco to win this handily.
Mike Spillane.
Man, if Minnesota had Justin Jefferson, I would think it'd be a little bit more interesting of a game, but they don't. I think the 49ers can survive without a CMC or a Debo. I don't think that the Vikings can survive without Justin Jefferson against that defense. So, yeah, give me the Niners still.
Well, our picks are in for the week. I want to let you guys know on bye this week, if you don't already know, Carolina Panthers, Cincinnati Bengals, Dallas Cowboys, Houston Texans, the New York Jets, and the Tennessee Titans, all on bye. So we will see what we will see. I didn't think it was possible for Aaron Rodgers to get more unlikable, but he's done it. And honestly, I'm impressed.
What are you talking about? He's coming back. He's going to play in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, sure he is. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely he's going to do that.
Now he's going to be back in the regular season.
The Jets definitely want their $100-and-something million quarterback to show up after experimental surgery to be behind the worst offensive line in football. They definitely want that. For sure.
Do you think they're playing too well and that's why he's pushing that narrative?
No, I think he wants to play, but I think he wants to play I think he wants to come back so quickly so that he can be like, I put the team on my back. We're in the playoffs now. It's all because of me. And Mr. Pfizer's a shit face. And it's like, that dude has more rings than you'll ever sniff, my guy.
Yeah, that's true on all fronts.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, I don't feel like it's a controversial statement, unlike everything that comes out of his mouth. So anyway, fuck you, Aaron Rodgers. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate it if you could do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button, comment, let us know what you want us to talk about. We are here to entertain you. So yeah, just let us know down below what your picks are, what you think is going to happen this week. Thank you so much for hanging out, and we will see you all back here next time.